Life process. Lecture number 1. Coming to the introductory part, we all know that life processes are the key cause for our survival. We can explore the presence of life even at molecular levels, which is at a very tiny range. The ability to perform the basic processes distinguishes a living organism from a non-living one. Coming to life processes. Definition. The vital processes that are carried out by living organisms in order to maintain and sustain life are known as life processes. In simpler terms, these are processes which are all interdependent and so important for the existence of life. Specialized body parts perform the various life processes in multi-organisms, in multicellular organisms. This facility is not available in unicellular organisms. Now, let us come to a new topic known as nutrition. Nutrition. While we do some daily tasks such as walking, bicycle riding, studying, etc., we are actually consuming some of our energy. Now, did we ever think that from where are we getting this energy? So, this one leads to the concept of nutrition. Now, let's define it. The process of obtaining and utilizing the nutrients necessary to sustain life is known as nutrition. In a simple language, nutrition is nothing but a fuel for any living organism to survive and work. Energy required to carry out the different life processes is obtained from the carbon-based food sources through nutrition only. Now, the question is, how do living things get nutrition? The mode of nutrition varies from organism to another organism. It truly depends on the type of organism, that is, whether the organism is an autotroph or it is an heterotroph. Autotrophs are those organisms which can prepare their own food, for example plants. Whereas heterotrophs are those organisms that cannot make their own food. They have to depend on the other sources for nutrition. For example, us. Now let us learn the nutrition for autotrophs. Autotrophs fulfill their nutritional needs through a process known as photosynthesis. For example, plants. Defining photosynthesis, it is a process by which autotrophs take in substances from the atmosphere and convert them into stored forms of energy. Now, let us study about photosynthesis in detail. Usually, the material taken from the atmosphere is nothing but carbon dioxide and water, which is converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Here, the nutrition is characterized by the ability to use simple inorganic substances for the synthesis of a more complex organic compound, as in green plants and some bacteria. Now, let's discuss a bit on photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. The definition. It is a process by which plants and other similar organisms generate carbohydrates and oxygen from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. Given below is a basic equation of photosynthesis. Have a look. The balanced chemical equation of photosynthesis is given below. It is recommended that you must remember it. Now let us learn how this photosynthesis happens. Step number 1. The absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Step number 2. Conversion of the light energy to chemical energy and the splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Step number 3. Reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. That's it. Now let us learn how do plants take in carbon dioxide. On the surface of the leaves there are a few small pores called as stomata. This is how they look. Now let us learn about the stomata. The definition. These are minute pores present on the epidermis of a leaf or a stem through which gaseous exchange and transpiration occurs. Given below is a photograph of a stomata. This stomata has something called as guard cells which open only at certain intervals to allow the exchange of gases. Now we have discussed a lot on autotrophs. Now let us learn something about heterotrophs. So coming to heterotrophs, let us look at the definition. An organism that cannot synthesize its own food and is actually dependent on complex organic substances for nutrition is called as a heterotroph. For example, we humans, dogs, lions, etc. are few heterotrophs known. Now let us study about the nutrition for heterotrophs. Here also, the mode of nutrition varies from organism to organism. For example, in our case, that is for humans, they cook their own food and eat it. Whereas in the case of animals, they just search their own food, etc. Technically speaking, this is a type of nutrition in which energy is derived from the intake and digestion of organic substances, normally plants or animal tissues. Nutrition in single cellular heterotrophs. In single cellular organisms, the food is taken by the entire surface. Given below is a schematic of how this actually happens. But As an organism starts becoming multicellular, different parts become specialized in performing different operations. Right? So let us come to the nutrition in humans. In humans, the food enters the body through the mouth and then goes throughout the body via a long tube called as an alimentary canal. Now let us look at the definition of alimentary canal. It is a long tube extending from the mouth to the anus that has regions specified for ingestion, digestion, absorption and egestion. Now let us have a look on the human alimentary canal. Now let us have a look on the food pathway through the alimentary canal. Firstly, we bite the food in our mouth. Then the mouth starts watering, right? This watering is actually due to a secretion of a biological substance which is named as saliva. This saliva consists of biological catalyst called as amylase, which breaks down these food particles into simpler units. Such biological catalysts, which break down the food into simpler products for easy absorption of the food into the alimentary canal and for a speed digestion, are called as enzymes. So given below is the definition of enzyme. Please have a look. So once the food enters the mouth, it gets mixed thoroughly with the saliva and moves around the mouth while chewing by the muscular tongue. The saliva contains an enzyme called as salivary amylase that breaks down the starch into which is a complex molecule into simpler sugars. The lining of the alimentary canal has muscles that contract rhythmically in order to push the food downward to the other parts. These peristaltic movements occur all along the gut. The process of wave-like contractions and relaxations in the alimentary tract that propels the food forward through the tract is called as peristalsis. From the mouth, the food is taken to the stomach through the food pipe or the esophagus. The stomach is a very large organ which expands when the food enters it. The muscular walls of the stomach help in the mixing of the food thoroughly with more and more digestive juices. These digestion functions are taken care by the gastric glands present in the walls of the stomach. These release hydrochloric acid, a protein digesting enzyme called pepsin, and mucus. The hydrochloric acids create an acidic medium which facilitates the action of enzyme pepsin. The exit of the food from the stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle which releases in small amounts into the small intestine. From the stomach, the food now enters into the small intestine. This is the longest part of the alimentary canal, which is fitted into a compact space because of extensive coiling. The small intestine is the site of complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The inner lining of the small intestine has numerous finger-like projections called as villi, which increase the surface area for absorption. The villi are richly supplied with blood vessels which take the absorbed food to each and every cell of the body, where it is utilized for obtaining energy, building up new tissues, and repairing the old tissues. The unabsorbed food is sent into the large intestine, where more villi absorb the water from this material. The rest of the material is removed from the body via the anus. The exit of the waste material is regulated by the anal sphincter. That's it. The continuation can be found in the next lecture. Thank you for watching.